A woman at work once pointed out to me that there were many men that we had worked with that were conspiracy theorists, that ultimately were conspiracy theorists because they loved women who lied all the time about stupid things you don't need to lie about. Now, as a man, I have had friends that just lie about everything, mostly in childhood, that would just absolutely lie about everything. And you needed to wait a little bit before you got the real story. You needed to step back, and sometimes you heard the way things go, and then just knowing the way they are, you kind of put together what might have actually happened. This especially happened when he's talking about situations of conflict where he's getting into fights with neighbors and stuff like that. Not saying that not accurately representing the things that he did, but overdoing the things that happened against him. Now, as this woman said this, I'm thinking about the two individuals she's talking about, and I'm thinking back about their history, and it makes sense. It makes sense. It was a eureka moment for me. Holy crud. John Redcorn, Rusty Shackleford. Jeez, what was her name? That was Dale from King of the Hill, and I can't remember her name. But you're supposed to like let sleeping dogs lie, right? That's three, man. Okay, one's a little fictitious. One's fictitious, but I think it's an ongoing thing. I really think it's an ongoing thing. Conspiracy theorists are often made because people that they love and are supposed to trust are more interested in themselves and their own needs. What's interesting about this is we're at a time where we can openly talk about how horrible the CIA was to its own people. It isn't conspiracy theory anymore. It's shame by now. Was it Hoover? Anyways, yeah, no, sorry, I'm just going through my head about the stuff that the CIA has legitimately done and the stuff it's come out with, and I think it was Hoover. He just shouldn't have been there. It's just like all of a sudden everything that my progressive friends are talking about the white patriarchy and colonialists are just like, wow, okay, I see it. I see it now. I want to go back to a time when conspiracy theories were just something that I read about. If I was an Aberfoyle flea market and just going through books. So now here's the hard part. We need to put responsibility on females for certain things, particularly wives. We're not very good at doing that these days. I have proof. My relationship was completely dematerialized by the internet because my wife didn't like the way that I did dishes. I can show you, and shortly I am going to find the thread, which she deleted before she sent lawyers out to get me. And in these comments, it went all the way from, it was about washing dishes, and at the end of it, they had me freaking filleted, saying how not even that I was abusive, but they got her to say, or she said, well, he was the best I could do. And my biological clock was ticking, and she was accurate. I am the best that she could do. Now, I normally don't toot my own horn, but she couldn't do better than me, unfortunately. And after the divorce, she gets breast cancer. And I'm there helping the children out. I'm there taking the kids to see the children. She goes to hospital. I'm supporting her in hospital. I am her main support. And I'm going to her house and helping her clean because she's the mother of my children. Even if she wants me dead, at least I can help her out, right? Kids are worried about her. Of course, it always helps to have kids around the mommies and babies, right? You get them all together, you get the love. It's like, do I need to explain it? Come on. And she had 3 days. She would be out. We didn't even know when she'd be out of hospital. And she sends her lawyers out to get me for something that I thought was taken care of. I can't take the kids to see her anymore. She expects me to. She tells me that I absolutely should, that it's my job, but oh, come on. That's some hostility right there. You just expect me to take this letter from a lawyer and just walking, hey, hey everybody, how's it going? But what I will never recover from is going from one day crying. I was in tears, seeing her in all of this equipment. It was like the computers were taking her. It's like the computers were taking her. And I was upset because it looked the same thing like when my daughter was attached to all those things. And I just get this feeling like I can't protect my family from these machines that are trying to take my family. It's not like that at all, right? Of course, the machines are there to help her and stuff like that, right? But like going from that one day, collecting the kids, getting ready to go, and getting an email from a lawyer from something I thought was dealt with. Guys, there's something we need to change in this society. Women want equality, but at the same time, clinical psychologists will legitimately tell you you can't argue with women. Women have to argue with women. But the thing is, women don't argue with women unless they're competing for something. Otherwise, they have this tribal idea that they all stick together and they just agree with each other all the time, all across the sunshine. Legitimately, the kind of shit that you hear women okaying for other women, it's to the point where a woman could be like, oh, I got this new boyfriend, he's real cute, but he's a bank robber. And the other woman will be like, oh, well, at least he's got a passion, baby. And okay, so at the end of that hell, at the end of that hell, what is it for the man? And I know men are supposed to be strong in all this, but at the same time, in putting men under this sustained pain and suffering, we create monsters. And then what happens? We're not helping the men, we're just keeping them in shit piles, growing monsters that have these head problems that we don't want to deal with. But we will punish in a moment. We will send the angels and the Valkyries down from the shelters to smite you if you do anything against a woman or a mother. Like, guys, we gotta change that. Men need to be able to argue with women, and we are legitimately in a society where we can't. If you disagree with the woman, you are an incel. Now, if you don't have those opinions and you're a woman and you don't agree with the things that I said women do, thank you. I appreciate you. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate the women trying to hold stuff together. There are a lot of good women out there. There's so many, and there's so few bad ones. But of course, you get some. But if you don't do something about it, it's not even that it's going to hurt the basket. The thing I'm concerned about is these evil women are going to make evil men that have no ability to get up, to move, to go forward, because everyone is focused on woman suffering. We need to get back to third wave feminism where everyone is equal. I am literally guilty for things that my grandfather never did. Slavery, Christianity, these things I'm not responsible for, and I've actively fought for equal everything. But once I see this society treating men the way it is, with so many options for women and almost nothing for men, guys, we're creating monsters here. We're creating conspiracy theorists. And if we don't do something about these monsters, man, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? So, this is going to get dark. I'm sorry. But there was an individual I heard about that he was drunk and he was pissed at his family. The wife said something while he was cleaning his gun. And the idiot, the stupid son of a bitch, picks a gun up and runs after the wife and the kid. The kids run out, and the husband takes a shot. Doesn't hit anything. Too drunk, never hits anything. He's dead now. He's killed himself. The woman didn't need to say the thing. And if a man was to have said the same thing to a woman who was near a gun, the exact same thing would have happened. I think the woman would have been treated equally had she fired off that round. what I'm saying is there's some shit you don't say. There was a famous feminist, Margaret Atwood, that said all men need to worry about from women is being laughed at. All women need to fear about from men is being murdered. Guys, if you laugh at a man long enough, you create a monster. Let's give these monsters suicide booths, okay? You can put your name on the side of your suicide booth. And then women, you can take personal responsibility for your actions with these booths. You can get rid of any man that you want. Just put your name down that you're responsible for that. You're like, yeah, this man deserves it, let's do it. Or, come on, let's meet at the table. Let's come to the middle. Let's stop with the shit. And let's, meet in the middle. Third wave. Now, why this is tech related is because society crashed into technology and created social media that created this DEI. I'm all about equality and equity, but this DEI thing that we got is, it's messed up. It's messed up. I'm sorry to keep going down this way, but legitimately, I see some men putting up with some pretty difficult things in society. And I see society supporting mainly the woman. And it keeps bringing me back to this really dark situation I seen where a guy was beating up a kid and said, don't put your hands up. You deserve this. Don't block it. You deserve this. I feel like society is so full of anger for things that have happened in previous generations that it's now getting beaten down. The men are getting beaten down and the women are saying, put your hands down. You deserve this. There are plenty of folks that don't feel this way, but I must be disproportionately connected to many of them. And let's face it, men are fuck ups, and a lot of men are just unconscionable. The hell that women have to deal with is unlike anything men have to deal with. The hormones, the menstrual cycle, the I can't even, it's like a white guy using the N-word. I can't even. But at the same time, we need to hold some of these folks accountable, and it definitely seems like right now we have a situation where women are fine going out there lying and saying things about their ex and monkey branching away, and the next guy's like, yeah, I believe that. You want to get in my bed? Yeah. Can't forget the soft white underbelly episode where a woman had so many boob jobs and she was like, she's not all there. She's like, I had this many boob jobs. And they're like, you paid for all these? No, men did. I got him too. And it's like, you're going to pay for it. And you're going to pay for it. Okay, so this isn't somebody that knows reality then, right? This isn't somebody anyone should be looking up to, right? But at the same time, there's so many women like that I'm even noticing in the dating market that men will just give them whatever just to get sexy time with them, and they'll say whatever just to get sexy time with them. Dating is now so horrible because it's all on the internet and it's all gamed. The apps that we use are no longer what they used to be. They're getting gamed to get the most money from the individuals, and it's no longer organic. Many of these women locked in from COVID, spending a lot of time on TikTok and social media, that made a killing on mental health issues that didn't actually exist during COVID. Many people locked into bad ideas, and if you didn't, during COVID, if you didn't go down TikTok, if you didn't turn on TikTok and start swiping, then you don't know what it was like. Back in the day when there were 1 minute videos managed to convince so many people that didn't agree with them were narcissists. And the term gaslighting has been taken so far and changed so much that it no longer even represents its original title, which was anchored to a movie. And while language changes and law changes due to the language and interpretation of language, the movie is the movie is the movie. And it was about someone cranking the lights up and then lying, and then cranking the lights, or doing stuff and then cranking the lights down and lying about what happened. You know what it wasn't? It wasn't disagreements over what day things happen. It's possible one of you was wrong. I personally was called guilty of gaslighting when I just mixed up 2 days. I mixed up parts that happened in different days. And I wasn't gaslighting. I was speaking my truth. My truth is different than your truth. Is truth like love, a purview of a conundrum these days? And if your idea of love is different than somebody else's idea, then yeah, but by the time you're married, you should know what's up. Anyways, all I'm trying to say is women have the capacity for evil, and I'm noticing a disturbing amount of. We're not allowed to say women are evil, flat out. Any woman ever, or we're automatically incel. Now, I want to tell you something that was absolutely true, absolutely happened, but people don't like to talk about it, and they get disturbed when I talk about it, though it is a reality that I've seen. Went out into the world, got a job, and while I was at that job, I specifically remember that there were, I got to keep this simple, there were 2 girls that just wanted to get pregnant. That's all they wanted. And it became apparent to me because I was a mess. Like, I'm cleaner now than I was then, but I was heartbroken, suicidal, and they wanted to get with me in my apartment, in my bed. And I'm like, God, nah, nah, no. And they weren't, intellectually, we weren't the same. We didn't appreciate the same things, let's just say. I'm not saying they were dumb, but we just appreciated things differently. They knew way more about farming than I did. But one of them got preggers from one of the more alpha kind of guys, and then she just disappeared and he disappeared, and they all went to their legal battle. It was legitimately a predator situation. The other girl ultimately ended up doing the same thing, and she found out from one of her cousins how to get money from the government if your husband offs himself. And she tried to get her husband off himself. She denies it. She denies it. But as an individual who has a lot of, as an individual who knows soft men that feminism created in the 80s, there are things you don't say to people and not expect them to completely fall apart. There are just some things you don't say. There are just some things you don't say. It doesn't matter how mad you are. And especially if somebody's got a weapon, just shut up. Just, you can call the cops, deal with that situation later, but if he's got it, no, just don't. Not a good time. Not a good time. I really feel like this is a difficult one. I feel like I didn't hit this right on the head like I meant to. I don't think I can create this video as good as I need to. But I also feel like if I don't put this video out, then I will be partially guilty for the increase of suicides of men that is going on. Guys, we got to help them out. We got to help them out. Like, guys, there's things that I see that I can't talk about because of promises. And we need to start worrying more about men. We need to start worrying more about men. Men need men. And we need to understand as a society that there are women who will gladly have their husbands dead or even have themselves end themselves so that they will financially benefit. And it's a disturbingly high amount. We can't ignore this. Thanks for hearing me. Have a good one, folks. Take care of each other.